All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series here for Challenger Day number 2, where we've had some of the most ridiculous games already. Really impressive stuff so far in Challenger.
Yeah, that was... I mean, we've had some great games so far today.
Yeah.
We saw a laser go through, and then we just had Mana in Hero Marine again.
And that Game 5, that's all I have to say. That Game 5, watching the Twitch chat at the very, very end moments of that was fantastic. Here are our results so far today, as well as from day 1, as obviously Bunny, Laser, and Mana have done very well for themselves so far. And now we cross the halfway point of today's broadcast, and we will be following up with something special out there for StarCraft fans.
Yeah, we got a couple more names to cross out, and the next match is NaNiwa or GunGFuBanDa, who is going to be eliminated here. Another player to make his debut within the WCS. First game in Challenger, obviously no games in Premier League, goes up against the King in the North himself, NaNiwa.
Yeah, what a Protoss versus Protoss. Of course, NaNiwa in the Challenger selection process was very down the list. And obviously GunGFuBanDa was one of the last players to be picked in that list. So not necessarily one of the guys that people, that NaNiwa wanted to play potentially in that list, as he ends up in a Protoss versus Protoss that can be quite volatile. And GunGFuBanDa is no stranger to the matchup. He resides in Germany, where there's been a lot of PvP in the past, and he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, he's good. I've seen a couple of his games recently, and he's been looking very clean in Protoss versus Protoss. But NaNiwa is one of the best players in StarCraft when it comes to preparation and knowing how to play against a specific opponent. Unfortunately, due to the Challenger selection, he was ranked very low because he didn't have the best Season 1. Eliminated in the round of 32 against Haz. He then came into Season 2 very low ranked, and he only had 2 players to pick between, Elfie or GunGFuBanDa, as we can see here on screen. Unfortunately, there's not really too much between the two of them. He chooses this player, and now he has to show us what he's got in Protoss versus Protoss. Over the years, NaNiwa has defeated some of the best in Protoss versus Protoss, but he's not quite the player he used to be. But he's shaping up for 2015 to look really, really well coming this next part of the year.
Yeah, round of 32 there in Season 1 for him. Bit kind of volatile, I want to say, with how that went down. Bit difficult for him to deal with in Protoss versus Protoss, obviously, there.
Yeah, but NaNiwa has only lost 2 games since his loss versus Haz. So we've had a couple of months since we saw NaNiwa play in the studios. He's lost 2 games, 1 versus True, I think it was, as a Zerg, and 1 versus Byung Terran. 2 Koreans he's lost to since that. He's beaten everybody else in any other tournament that he's played since then. So he's coming onto this, and I think he's going to do well. One thing that definitely stood out that hurt him a lot in Season 1 is that he had a lot of expectations on his shoulders, and I think he still does. But this time he's had a lot more time to be really back into StarCraft, practicing and preparing. And this time I think he's going to show what he's really made of in Season 2.
Yeah, I think so as well. At the moment, GunGFuBanDa, of course, you know, he is kind of the upstart, that rising talent here in the German scene, still in the ESL Meisterschaft, and trying to compete for the championship there. But it's NaNiwa he goes up against here on a big stage as well. This is where it really matters. And do nerves now get to GunGFuBanDa? Because it's a very, very solemn a time that he's been in WCS. Very, very small time.
I think he's going to thrive on this. You know, despite it being his debut, he's shown great results. I think in Fragmite Masters at the end of the year, he played excellently. And it was a massive result to his name, where he went through the likes of Happy and Bunny and almost beat MMA in the final, losing 4 games to 3. So if he's not nervous and not worried about those type of games, he's going to be ready to rock and roll in this. He knows Protoss versus Protoss. He knows it's NaNiwa. It doesn't matter that it's NaNiwa. It's all about GunGFuBanDa trying his best to overcome what formerly was NaNiwa and formerly one of the best players outside of Korea. And I think he's going to be gunning to be able to defeat NaNiwa like NaNiwa has been defeated in the past in this league.
It would be interesting to see NaNiwa on these new maps as well. See if he's going to bring anything kind of like funky or diverse to the table. Echo will be our first map here in this Protoss versus Protoss. Of course, PvP doesn't really kind of change a whole lot based on the maps. You see a few proxies here and there and things like that. But aside from that, the matchups, for the most part, been figured out, and also Tempests with the recent change haven't really fallen out of this matchup, but you still see a lot of like big Colossus numbers going into those later stages.
Yeah, I think Protoss versus Protoss in general is going to be playing out just the way it usually does. I think we'll adapt throughout the series, but the thing is what I think will happen is a lot of the games I've seen from GunGFuBanDa here is that he's very good in the early mid games, but from what I've seen in the matches that he's been broadcasted in, has not been many long games. And NaNiwa doesn't die very early and doesn't look to win the game instantly either. So I think we're going to see a lot longer of a series here than most PvPs, and I think NaNiwa is going to have a lot more experience come to the later stages.
True.
NaNiwa's biggest strength, which has stood out since the beginning of time, is his army control. He's always been unrivaled in these positions. In Protoss versus Protoss, when you have the two armies colliding together, NaNiwa can really make it work.
Yeah, and you know, you get into situations where obviously there is a lot of spellcasters on the side of Protoss versus Protoss, especially when you've got to control your Mothership Core, your sentries, etc. Sometimes you can even see Storm come into play later on for some kind of like niche timings and niche small moments.
Yeah.
But he's always really been on point. If you look to his PvZ, for example, that's where that really shines, and he's able to do some magical things with it. So, well, for now, we do have NaNiwa in our lobby now to start things off. Just a small hiccup in him trying to figure out his hotkeys there to start things off. Yeah,
he took a bit of extra time here to make sure everything's good in NaNiwa world, just like he always does, and we'll be ready to start this in a couple of moments. But there's definitely going to be, if the players want to play this way, a lot of random element that can come through this. You know, some builds, we all know it, in mirror matchups are better than the others.
Yeah.
And Protoss versus Protoss really kind of shows that. You know, Blink is good versus Stargate play, DT is good versus Blink play, and so on and so on and so on. So we'll see if that can play through. And sometimes it can be luck of the draw, but it's best of 5, which really helps to wear this down a little bit.
And you can even see crazy proxy action going on in this matchup as well. So, as I say, with these 2-player maps, there's the potential for something like that happening, of course, as we figure this out. I mean, I think it was NaNiwa Haas, right, where both of them went for a proxy on Vani Research Station, which was just absolute insanity. But anyway, the countdown has begun now here. We've already had 3 fantastic series so far here in Day 2 of Challenger. This one, with NaNiwa and GunGFuBanDa, has the potential to be very good as well. Obviously, with the infamous NaNiwa looking to continue on his WCS campaign, and he really needs no introduction. He is NaNiwa.
Yeah, so far ranked 73 within the system. Very low ranking for NaNiwa, but we'll see if he can rise the ranks and play in Premier League for Season 2.
All right, let's get into it then. Game number 1 in this best of 5 of Day 2 of Challenger here in Europe, as we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner. It is our red Protoss. It is, of course, NaNiwa, representing Team Property. And then up to the top left-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss, representing Team Planet Key Dynamics. It is GunGFuBanDa.
So now it's a massive moment now. It's a difference between rising and falling, Kalaris. Which player can rise to the challenge? And unfortunately, which player is going to fall out of the World Championship Series? Just the best of 5, everything on the line. NaNiwa back again. He played Nurtio in Season 1 Challenger, was able to win that match to go to Premier League. Unfortunately, fell out in the round of 32. But here he is again against a player who was one of 2 players not to be picked at all. Remember, as much as NaNiwa only had 2 choices left, one of those 2 choices left that no one else picked was, of course, GunGFuBanDa here.
Yeah, seen as quite the dangerous opponent in Europe at the moment. We have a lot of those players at the moment who haven't been able to really make their splash, but are very highly regarded. I think for a long time, Bunny was one of those. Bunny was one of those that didn't quite have that splash, have that opportunity to really shine, but all the pros said that this guy is going to be one of the best. This guy is a great practice partner. We love playing with this guy.
This is called newer generations coming up.
Yeah, new blood.
Obviously was going to happen, and we are really starting to see that. Laser, Serral, just to name a few. All right, double gases fast here from our blue Protoss, whereas NaNiwa is just on a single gas at the moment. Will be wanting to take a second. You just very rarely see Protoss work off 1 gas.
Very old style, this in terms of the opener here for NaNiwa, actually. Yeah. Very rare that you see only the 1.
Yeah, NaNiwa has been, over the years, very particular about how he wants his income aligned when it comes to gas and minerals, so he knows what he's doing. Going to delay that second gas for a little bit. He could work towards a second gateway, though. I don't think a second gateway makes too much sense. Oh, it's down there. I was going to say, I was actually going to say it doesn't make too much sense because he's got nowhere to place it because his first pylon inside his main base, there's no space for a second gateway. So unless he throws it randomly off the right-hand side, it doesn't make much sense. But it's down there.
The funny thing is that GunGFuBanDa's going to come in, see one pylon, and then go up to the top where he's also placed his own pylon, see that, and then just pull back and be like, oh, okay. So it's well, he should do.
Yeah, I mean, even if he doesn't, he's not going to check that gateway.
No.
So he's going to get surprised by quite a few Stalkers here. Chronoboost is banking up. NaNiwa's not using it. Against any one base, one gateway tech choice, Twilight Council, Stargate, NaNiwa can put on a lot of pressure very fast with Stalkers here. And he can hit in before the tech choice is ready. It's a Stargate, but NaNiwa's building up this count very fast.
Yeah.
And if the Oracle, even if the Oracle's flying over to the other side of the map and is in the mineral line, if there is simply no units to stop this.
Very interesting opener. Very interesting opener at the start of this. GunGFuBanDa has a probe up to the top here on patrol, and the mothership car actually will find that if it goes that far. It's very close to finding it, and I think with the extended vision of that an air unit, it might be able to. Just barely doesn't, as it has retreated out.
All right. So NaNiwa are going to put some pressure on with these 3 Stalkers. Double sentry behind it and an expansion to follow, more than likely. But this Oracle... Oh, his Stalker caught out in the middle of the map.
Oh, going to lose that very, very quickly. That's a great pickup there for NaNiwa, who will now move on into an aggressive stance.
And he switched away from Oracle. It's Phoenix. I don't know if he even built an Oracle, but Phoenix as it is. There is a photon overcharge to protect inside the single base he has.
And he will be able to pick up one of these Stalkers. Kill that off very, very quickly, and then from then on push that back. But at the same time, this Nexus goes completely uncontested with this opener that he's gone for.
Yeah, and NaNiwa, upon seeing that this is Stargate play, throws down the Twilight Council, which opens up the ability called a Blink.
Useful ability. Very, very useful. Very mobile. And we've seen NaNiwa time and time again use that to great effect. Very strong control.
Yeah, but right now, it's... one player on 2 bases, the other on 1. If you know StarCraft, if you don't know StarCraft, the player on 2 is winning.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good spot to be in. Gotta say, gotta say. And there now is Blink started up. Good to go. Phoenix are going to head over there. Get a good scout, probably. See that gate on the low ground and be like, ah, you tricky guy.
Yeah. 2 Phoenix are going to fly in. Photon Overcharge can be activated, but he's not going to use it.
Run away.
He just uses the Stalkers by themselves.
At least he saw the Twilight Council. The extra gateway now turning on.
Hallucinated Phoenix coming out from NaNiwa to scout the follow-up of what exactly is going on here. And moseyed on away from those extra Phoenix that were patrolling around, so didn't even get denied. So he does spot the timing of that Nexus and has got to be laughing at home. Yeah, or you say, oh, I can build up a lot more probes than you can right now. This is pretty good. My economy's going to be doing dandy. But these Phoenixes still present a threat. They can lower that economy if they're managing to pick up the probe kills like this.
27 against 27, and 3 Phoenix is really the magic number. 1 to pick up, 2 to get the other volley off so that they kill them off in one lovely little swing. I mean, what does he do here? He's kind of boosting out a lot of Immortals.
Yeah, he can plan an attack or is ready to defend against whatever NaNiwa's doing, because NaNiwa has a lot of Stalkers, so it's usually, in this case, just going to be for the defense. Photon Overcharge is going to be there. He has sentries to force field where need be, but NaNiwa does have 10 Stalkers, and that is good against 1 or 2 Immortals, but Phoenixes can also pick these guys up.
Yeah. And that does negate a little bit of this damage. He can actually just pick up as many as he wants, to be honest with you, and then just walk on with the rest of his army and do quite a bit of damage there. Gets himself some free Stalkers, and we'll just back on out.
Yeah, that's good defense. NaNiwa warps in 3 more, though. He's going to go again when that Photon Overcharge is down. Will he have enough to jump on top of these Immortals? A 3rd Immortal's on its way. Interestingly, he's thinking about jumping inside the main base, but there is an observer, and he's waiting for this. Yeah,
he knew exactly where that was going, and he will catch himself some. This was a bit of an ambitious move here by NaNiwa, who does actually slow this down, will grab himself 1 Immortal. 2nd Immortal may die off, but...
That's huge if he gets that Immortal.
Yeah, he's going to get it as well. Another one actually pops out, though. Does have Blink off cooldown, so can quite easily jump out if he needs to.
Oh, really nice by NaNiwa, running around these units, and he can continue to warp in another 3 Stalkers in a minute. Remember, there's no Photon Overcharge, and the Mothership comes down, so even if he jumped into the face of 2 Immortals, he picks off both of them
You know, the way he used that Time Warp is something that you very rarely see, just dancing around it and making sure that he doesn't have to focus. The Zealots, obviously, they're going to be slowed down whilst trying to chase, so very good use of Time Warp, very uncommon use of Time Warp.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of momentum, though, now, though. He's lost his critical Stalker count. It's hard to, I mean, he got the ball rolling, but it's hard to build up and equal the count which the Immortals are going to go to. He's warped in 3 more. It's going to be hard to jump on 2 Immortals now.
Yeah.
Photon Overcharge still down, though, because he killed the Mothership Core.
Maybe if he'd have lured him out of position and tried to go in and force field a ramp, that could have been nice. But with this Observer keeping eyes on everything, not likely to happen. Although, that being said, that's a great force field to try and isolate some of these Immortals. And almost gets one, but at the life of some of the Stalkers and doesn't even grab it.
Yeah, as you can see, it's not starting to work in NaNiwa's favor here. He started to forge back at home and +1 attack. His probe count is just slightly ahead of his opponent. Well, not slightly, it's like 7 probes ahead. With a bit of chrono boost, gone up to 8 probes ahead. So that is working well for him. He started his own robotics facility, but he's quite far behind in the Immortal count. His army's just not going to be as strong as his opponent.
Phoenix head over the map here for GunGFuBanDa, making sure that a 3rd base isn't down while this kind of soft contain is going on. So he needs to make sure that he's not falling behind too much. But it is 45 workers to 38 here at the moment, with NaNiwa doing all right in that regard. Could have picked up a sentry and maybe killed that off, actually. But the Stalkers are back now and has to get out of there.
And so the game moves on. 4 Immortals, though. Twilight Council been slapped down here. I think we're going to see Blink come out from his opponent. And he's going to be able to build up a very mobile army when he adds Blink into his army. GunGFuBanDa here. And then with 4 Immortals, he can stage a very, very powerful attack. He's got a pylon on the other side of the map, which could come in useful.
For now, we'll just see.
Zealot charge it is, though, not Blink.
Ooh, cool. Actually really good against heightened numbers of Stalkers, and if he's anticipating his opponent going for Blink off the back of it as well, and just getting extra Immortals out to try and counteract that, then Zealot charge against Immortals is pretty sick.
Yeah, NaNiwa adding on a single Immortal. I think he'll switch into Colossus quite fast, though, here.
Very important.
But yeah, this Zealot charge from GunGFuBanDa. And the Templar Archive's now coming down for him as well.
He seems to have stabilized quite well off the back of that aggression from NaNiwa there.
Yeah, he never really took any economy damage. He was a little bit behind because NaNiwa was just chrono boosting to pros, but he dealt with it well. Yep.
The 49 workers, 50 workers to 54 at the moment. But the 3rd base is a little bit quicker here for GunGFuBanDa. Actually, no, they're pretty much exactly the same. So, not too bad at all. As NaNiwa now looks to move out. But, I mean, you said it at the very beginning of this series, or beginning of this game, as we're only in game number 1, that we could easily see a longer series out of these two.
Yeah, I think we will. They're both very good and not going to die too early in these games. NaNiwa has not seen the tech choice of his opponent. Doesn't know if it's Colossus base play, if it's a 2-base, like, kind of push out for Blink and Immortals. Doesn't know if it's Archons or not. And there's Archons being built up. And NaNiwa must move out to protect that 3rd, which we know that GunGFuBanDa knows about. NaNiwa moves out to defend that 3rd. He gets surrounded by Zealot Charge and Archons and will maybe die. He doesn't know what he's playing against, so he doesn't know to sit back and defend. He doesn't know anything, and that's a problem here.
Slightly supply blocked as well, which hindered him when trying to get out just a few of these units. That 2nd Colossus,
if he moves out to protect this 3rd, Time Warp goes on his army, and the Zealots charge in. And the Immortals will get close enough to that Colossus, because that is what NaNiwa is banking on. Yep. The Colossus working well.
And that 2nd one really
now he sees...
Uh-oh, 2 pylons go down. The pylon, yes, the probe does die, thanks to the Stalkers actually being able to snipe it off. And Thermal Lance is just finished up, but does he have enough to contest this? He's going to push on forward. There's the Time Warp from both players as well here, as he will try and push forward. The Immortals are doing nothing at the back here, though, for GunGFuBanDa, who has to walk away. There's so many Zealots here for NaNiwa, buffering against his opponents. And
when he has Zealot charge, it's going to help out a lot. But very good that NaNiwa poked out, saw it, retreated, and took a very defensive position, and was able to minimize the losses.
Okay, just going to try and position himself well here to defend both of these locations. Has to try and find a little bit of a spot. Doesn't want to walk on directly onto the low ground.
But he did lose 14 probes in being strangled from his 3rd. So Zealots just chopped away everything on there.
Not quite the retreat out. 58 against 49 workers. GunGFuBanDa with a supply advantage, not only in the army, but also in that worker supply.
Templar Archives finishing up so we can add Archons into this. NaNiwa's got to hope for a really good fight shortly with these 3 Colossus.
Yeah, Warp Prisms here as well, so you could even warp into the back lines of this army. There's actually only 3 Stalkers here for NaNiwa, so really not that much AoE, anti-air, as he is going to try and divide this army up a little bit, and there is a lift on one of these Immortals trying to make sure that he can negate as much damage as possible onto his Stalkers, warping in some of these units as well. The Warp Prism at the back really didn't do a whole lot, just kind of flew in and died off. And then he will have to fall back for now.
Yeah, this is not good for NaNiwa. He's down quite a bit when it comes to the income, and he's struggling to hold on. He's struggling. He's warped in a lot of Templar now to be able to move into this, to add to his army. But right now, there's a clear advantage. 600-700 minerals a minute, good couple of 200, 200 gas a minute advantage.
And this window has opened up for GunGFuBanDa to not only have his first robo kind of churning away, but also adding on the second robo because his economy has been stronger than NaNiwa's. Unfortunately, he's been stuck on this one robo for a little while. Yes, he has more Colossi at the moment, but that can rapidly change. Well,
he's going to be going building 2 Colossi at a time. He's also got +3 attack because he's got so much money, and he's going to have everything that NaNiwa has and more shortly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and NaNiwa, even if he does move out through the middle of the map, pylons are going to spot him very quickly. So GunGFuBanDa will be able to set himself up in a really good defensive posture. But that's, I mean, the army supply for NaNiwa is not too bad. I don't know if it can counteract, though, the extra reinforcement and maybe even Photon Overcharge if he goes into a fight.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm trying to think if NaNiwa is probably going to have to... I mean, every type of small moves like this, it's the other player that's making it. Is GunGFuBanDa being on top of counterattacks and harassment, which is what NaNiwa needs to do to get back into this.
Well, doing a really good job here of just getting a few extra probe kills. We'll kill off these pylons in the mid, and then from that point on, supply block his opponent slightly, but not too much. He doesn't know about the 4th base. He really needs to scout that out to the left-hand side, deny that, and make sure he's not going to fall behind too much.
NaNiwa's just in the middle of the map, and there's not too much he can do here. He's planning to attack by the looks of it, but he's attacking into an opponent with +3 and with more than he's got in every department.
Very difficult to deal with. Very, very difficult. Going to break down these rocks now and try and find a good angle to take these pylons actually for not only warping, but also actually deny his opponent's charge lots from getting good position on his army for a brief moment.
+3 attack, 5 seconds remaining, and it's going to be done. Going to play a big part of this next fight. And there's still harassment going on the other side of the map from
he's just continuing on. Really annoying. 27 workers gone down. And now the slow but steady poke forwards here from NaNiwa is going to try and exert some pressure onto this, but GunGFuBanDa might just come in around from the side here.
Yeah, if he takes a very good fight somehow, NaNiwa, then it doesn't matter if he's a little bit behind, but this is a fantastic position for GunGFuBanDa to attack from.
The pylons did slow things down a little bit there, but now he's going to actually take the fight in general. And there's a lot of Archons at the front here for NaNiwa to use as soaking tools, but I'm not sure he has enough. Zealots from the backside here, not messing too much with the Colossus firepower, as 3 of them are still raining down some damage onto this, an army supply very much so in favor of GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, and this is the sideways tilt of the head that you do as a player, saying it is over, there's no way I can compete with that. And GunGFuBanDa will take map number 1 against NaNiwa, and he looked really solid.
Yeah, very, very strong there. Really good asserting of himself and asserting of dominance at the front, kind of flexing his muscles a little bit and saying you can't really do much from that point on. And then he capitalized from that point. And also, I mean, you mentioned it as well, the split off of those Zealots whilst he was in the middle of the 2nd and 3rd base. Just a brilliant little move.
Yeah, I mean, he went very aggressive. NaNiwa saw it very late and was kind of didn't know what to do. He did what he had to do.
Yeah.
Pull back defensively and got his economy gutted, and from there, very, very hard to play.
All right, so GunGFuBanDa takes a lead here in this best of 5, as we will be waiting for game number 2 to come along. I know a lot of people out there are expecting NaNiwa to do well and may not be as familiar with GunGFuBanDa as a few people are, say, in the German scene, for example. But NaNiwa has a tall order ahead of him because GunGFuBanDa is not going to roll over, and he is not going to take this lightly. He is going to go really hard at NaNiwa, and we already saw it there in game number 1.
Yeah, he played really good. He was definitely on his tiptoes a little bit towards the end, at the start there. Didn't really know what to expect from NaNiwa, but NaNiwa played aggressive, but couldn't quite capitalize enough on the aggressive play that he tried.
All right, so map number 2 is going to be Expedition Lost. Certainly a lot of room for kind of trickery here on this map, but at the same time, I don't see why GunGFuBanDa even has to really deviate from what he was doing there, just playing kind of a solid, stable game. You mentioned before that NaNiwa has a lot of experience over GunGFuBanDa, and maybe his later game engagements can go well for him, but if GunGFuBanDa is keeping his opponent in the mid-game on the defensive, how is NaNiwa supposed to try and assert himself?
Well, I guess the answer to that is that, you know, NaNiwa doesn't lose 15 probes and doesn't fall back.
True.
And has to sit back, you know, and then can start to get out there and be more of himself. That's definitely the thing that put him so far behind there.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so looks like NaNiwa is ready. We're just waiting for GunGFuBanDa to get good to go as well, as he's also currently in Diamond League, whereas Sean is in Masters. So it's a weird season so far.
Yeah, there's a lot of people stuck in Diamonds.
Yeah.
A lot of the pro gamers. There's a lot of people that got to Grandmasters, apparently, that shouldn't really be there, and a lot of people in Masters that shouldn't be there, like me, apparently.
Yeah.
So
sorry, man. Sorry.
Yeah, I got promoted, unluckily.
Yeah. Hard times. Hard times. Cast a life. But anyway, the countdown has begun for game number 2. As I said before, Expedition Lost will be our map. You can hear it ticking away as we get into this second game. And GunGFuBanDa is looking good so far. He won't make that many slip-ups, I don't think, unless the pressure starts getting to him. But from previous results,
I don't think he'll let pressure get to him today. I think he's going for a 3-0, ideally.
Yeah, it could potentially go down that route. Okay, let's get into it. Game number 2, as we have one game up. Down to, well, up to the top right. First, though, before we introduce Mr. GunGFuBanDa, it is NaNiwa, our red Protoss. And then to the bottom left-hand corner, of course, doing very well so far here in the first game. It is GunGFuBanDa for Planet Key Dynamics.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting series. I think we might see some rage as the series goes on, if things don't go in favor of the Swede, but we'll see. This is, I mean, again, you can't really tell too much about the maps. On the smaller 2-player maps, it's you can proxy because you know exactly where your opponent is. So stuff like this could come out from players soon, whether it be Twilight Council on the other side of the map, Stargate on the other side of the map. But I do think that this series is going to be more of a longer average PvP than most.
Little interesting management of gas in that first game from NaNiwa. I wonder if he is going to do it again, as usually you do see the straight to 2 gases very, very quickly to get all of those extra gas units, especially the Mothership Core, obviously, out and about very quickly.
Yeah, he really wanted to go double gateway that game.
Yeah.
And, you know, put on pressure. Definitely put on pressure. And it started to work okay for him. But we'll see what he tries again. Now, he could do the same. I mean, it works on that map. It works on the previous map. It works on this map.
And then from that point on, even these small things like GunGFuBanDa positioning his probe up towards the top of the extractor so that he can throw down the assimilator and then head up top and throw down the pylon. I mean, it doesn't save much time at all because he didn't even have the money for the pylon, but he's trying to be as efficient as possible with all of his positioning.
Single gas.
Are we going to go again? Maybe.
Double gateway is something that I think Rain uses almost every PvP plays, or at least a lot of them. Double gateway Stalker scouting with Mothership Core is a very good combo to figure out what your opponent is and lower the randomness of Protoss versus Protoss with the different builds having advantages over each other.
Yeah, completely agree. It's one of the more solid openers if you want to go into a defensively minded game. Also, if you actually really commit and chrono boost them out very fast, you can put on a bit of pressure yourself. But, well, with the Zealot on the way, there was no second gateway. He should cancel that,
but there's no second gateway coming out from NaNiwa. He's going to be single Stalker, Mothership Core, and a tech choice very shortly.
Yep. So, from here on out, the probe sees pretty much everything as well. So how much gas has come in. And knows that that second one was a little bit later, not too much though.
Yeah, you can see by the gas count, there's like a 50 gas difference between the two of them, with NaNiwa getting it later a little bit than his opponent.
NaNiwa poked him, saw the setup of things and didn't really care too much about the gas. Knows that his opponent's probably just going to be opening up normally. And hello, little probe, where are you off to down towards this bottom position?
NaNiwa's chrono boosting into a single gateway, so he's getting out a quite fast second Stalker.
Yeah, and that probe being sneaky down towards the bottom here. NaNiwa is the one with the pylon down here. And the Mothership Core sometimes you do actually see it go swing all the way down to the right-hand side if you're being careful about things, but GunGFuBanDa is not going to commit.
Chronoburst into a third Stalker as well, NaNiwa. He's really rushing out from the single gateway.
Is there anything he can really do from here other than a proxy?
No, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
He spent all his Chronoburst. There's no way he's going for a gateway rush.
GunGFuBanDa has to pull back with that Stalker. Takes a bit of scratch on the hull there, and then we do have the Stargate on the way.
Yeah, so Stargate versus Stargate. Previously it was a Phoenix opening, and this time it's Oracle. The Mothership Call's at home, and there is a Robo. NaNiwa playing safe. So NaNiwa's like, okay, one gateway, put a bit of pressure on, have a feel of the map, see what he's up to, proxy Stargate, fall back to Robo, defensive, and get an expansion.
Yeah.
Whereas his opponent right now doesn't really know what's going on. Has a second and third gateway down. So he could be, by the way these Chronobursts into a Cybercore, he wants to do damage with the Oracle, and then follow up with pressure from 3 gateways onto whatever NaNiwa is doing on the other side of the map.
With the Stalkers this far out, oh wow. GunGFuBanDa with a pylon up to the top here as well. And the
yeah, he's going to pressure after the Oracle with these 3 gateways.
Yeah, this is interesting. At the moment, the Stalkers are rushing back.
He has the Photon Overcharge only to defend against the Oracle that NaNiwa is about to put on the other side.
Alright, well, let's see how this is going to play out, because this can get really, really tricky.
Yeah. There is an Immortal on the way. NaNiwa can build a Sentry soon and sit back on one base. He can sacrifice his natural. If he kills off a bunch of probes with his Oracle, then it's one base versus one base. Who has the higher probe count?
2 go down there. The Stalkers are exerting some pressure onto this natural, and here comes the Oracle flying on in, and doesn't quite have his Mothership Core in place just there. So already a few kills go in favor of NaNiwa, and he'll just stick around and sacrifice this for the greater good, which was 10 probe kills. Wow.
Yeah, 7 probe difference between the two of them. NaNiwa can happily cancel his Nexus on the natural and just sit back and defend with his Immortal production and a better economy from one base.
Yeah. Not so sure the Stalkers expected an Immortal being on that high ground there, as they wandered a little bit too far forward.
So NaNiwa built a single Oracle, which went in suicide, got 10 kills, then a Phoenix to help with Oracles of his opponents, and there's 2 of them out there. So this Phoenix is worth its weight in gold if it can take out both these Oracles.
Yeah, definitely. Hunting them down, that's the problem. One up to the top here. I don't think it was spotted by these gateways that were just morphing in. Second Oracle's going to rendezvous with it, but now he knows that there's probably just do or die time with that Phoenix that he spotted with his Stalkers at the front.
Oh, he's going to rush the ramp while the units are out of position here. There's no Photon Overcharge.
And if the Zealots can get on top of the Immortals, that'd be very, very nice for him. He needs to reposition himself,
NaNiwa's stuck behind these pylons.
That's a bit of an odd spot to be in. And actually, this is really annoying for him. He could just kind of start gunning this down. I don't even think he wants to kill that pylon. I think he should leave it alone and really seal him in here and force him to go around. But, well, he's going to get himself a Sentry. Zealots go to the front. One of them has already died off. Second one will end up falling. Sentry is here. That force field in between these buildings would be great. There we go. Actually catches one of the Immortals as well. A brilliantly placed force field there by GunGFuBanDa. Microing back those Stalkers. Great moves by GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, really nice play. And there's still an Oracle floating around as well, but NaNiwa's lost half of his brute force, which is that first Immortal who got picked off. And unfortunately, he chased all the way back to get the Oracle, and then got caught in his mineral line, and GunGFuBanDa rushed the ramp, took full advantage.
And he takes an expansion behind that as well.
And now he's planning to lock his opponent in one base.
Oh, that's tough. That's really, really tough. How are we supposed to break out at this point?
Yeah, NaNiwa's a little bit in trouble at this point.
Really, really cool back and forth game. Only one base versus one base for a long, long time. 10 minutes into this game now, but look at the dynamics that have come out in this, with GunGFuBanDa really pressing the issue there.
Another Oracle's going to go in for NaNiwa to try and get some more damage done while he's stuck inside his own base.
Stalker going to keep an eye on the back rocks here, potentially for GunGFuBanDa, making sure that he's not going to try and escape from that route. But at the same time, he has Photon Overcharge to kind of drop this in, but he's just going okay, so he's going to retreat out here, realizing.
The problem for NaNiwa is the ticking bomb is ticking as he's stuck inside this main base, and the longer the game goes on, the worse position he's in. There's Void Rays being made. There's the Photon Overcharge going to be warming up, ready to defend his natural on the other side. He can't break that ramp. He's going to have to go through the back.
And he sees those rocks being broken down already, so he could easily just reposition himself if he wants to.
And the thing is he can just walk home. This is like, okay, I've delayed you enough where I have a complete Nexus, you don't have one even begun. Walks on back to his Void Ray, and second Void Ray now in production, defends his natural, and if NaNiwa attacks into it, he can hold. So that forces NaNiwa to almost just straight expand.
Yeah, really, really well played out game here by GunGFuBanDa. Of course, you know, the way in which NaNiwa was able to get those kills at the beginning, obviously good for him, but the GunGFuBanDa just evens things up time and time again.
Well, I think it's time to start working on the sentry count here for GunGFuBanDa. No more Void Rays. Sentry count would be nice. I guess he could build a third Void Ray and take it that way. No, actually, he's got 3 sentries. It's okay.
Yeah, a lot of energy.
I mean, if NaNiwa attacks from the back, he force fills the ramp. He attacks from the front, he cuts the Immortals up. NaNiwa does not have Blink. He has a very basic army, and NaNiwa is walking into a death trap with 2 Void Rays, double Photon Overcharge by the time the first one's completed, and all these sentries to cut his army up.
Difficult to deal with. Another Void Ray is in production as well here, and I'm not even sure if he actually just focuses...
And a counter-attack on the other side too. Like,
oh dear.
2 Zealots making their way into the Mineral Line.
He can deny one for a little while there with the Phoenix, and actually good warp in there, good reaction times to make sure that's not going to do much. But he could just target down all the Stalkers in this army, and then the Void Rays just have a field day. There's not much more that he could do.
Yeah, NaNiwa has one big fight left, and this is the brute force he has to work with, his army on the left-hand side. Versus 3 Void Rays, a lot of sentries to cut this army up. Photon Overcharge he must attack into as well.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't make this attack work, he's going down 0-2 to the German.
GunGFuBanDa looking good at the moment. Just a tense situation for him. He knows that those back rocks were broken down, but he doesn't really want to abandon the frontal defenses, potentially with a few Zealots just walking in or anything.
3 sentries for NaNiwa. He's got quite a few force fields himself, but was a 4th Void Ray.
Yeah, it's not easy to contain an opponent on 2 base and just be like, ha, now I can do... Uh-oh, wait, no, I can't, because there's not much more that I can do from here. So, just getting a dance himself.
NaNiwa's looking for an opening, but there just isn't one.
Yeah, all the while this is going on, GunGFuBanDa has the economy lead, and the armies are very, very similar. Photon Overcharge will make up that difference.
Void Rays are going to destroy everything.
Yeah, 4 of them now. 4 of them. How is he supposed to compete with that?
He can't. It's a big problem he's got. NaNiwa's in a lot of trouble.
Expansion behind it now to try and kind of scramble for some answer to this, but there isn't an answer. He's so far behind. How is he supposed to... I mean, of course, GunGFuBanDa did take go away from pro production for a long time during this, so that's quite even, but the Nexus is so late.
NaNiwa's a look inside and says, Void Ray production, this guy's got a Robo, so Dark Templar won't work. He's got 2... He's Chronoburst into his Nexus now. Robotics base coming down. I'm against the clock.
Gotta do something. What is the answer gonna be? There has to be an answer. He's gonna walk up, and the force field instantly catches even a few of these units, and he can just rotate around. No, forces the recall out. Yeah,
recall out, and now it's all happy days for GunGFuBanDa. He's Chronoburst into his Nexuses, getting both gases on the natural running. Can start Colossus production soon. Everything working wonderfully at home, but he's also, as well as he's making things tick at home, has an army which I don't even think can be stopped right now. Templar Archives coming in to try to get some Archons to help against this army.
5 Void Rays against 10 Stalkers and a Phoenix, really. Sentries, yeah, they'll do a bit of tickle damage, but it's not much. Not much at all. Not even... there's a potential even with force fields that this whole force or anti-air force can't even shoot at the Void Rays at the same time.
Yeah.
So, down the aggressive himself now. Sends a Zealot or 2 to the front, maybe to try and scout this out. NaNiwa knows he's in trouble here.
Yeah, and he's just... the ramp has been breached, and the fight's going to take place.
Great force fields as well to keep this back. He walks in, guns down the Nexus, and can just walk away if he wants. Oh my god. Oh, that is
humiliating a little bit there, because there's nothing NaNiwa can do.
No, not at all. Breaks down these rocks to buy himself some time for the potential counter-attack. NaNiwa has to... Oh, he's resided himself to re-expanding.
Yeah, Storm is on its way, which has been spotted by this hallucinated Phoenix, and I mentioned before that GunGFuBanDa is good in this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
I watched him, he's very solid, and that's why I thought the games would go long, because NaNiwa is also very solid, but at the moment, GunGFuBanDa is making moves that NaNiwa can't keep up with.
No, not at all. He's got some high Templars out now. Storm is going to be the answer for Void. I think he just has to make an army and go. I don't understand how he's going to be able to break this. Even the Colossi that are in the mix now, with 2 of them going to be there and Thermal Lance potentially before the engagement even happens. This is really, really brutal for NaNiwa.
Yeah. GunGFuBanDa in a lot of trouble, man. I mean, not in a lot of trouble. NaNiwa in a lot of trouble. GunGFuBanDa just kind of...
He's not in any trouble at all.
He's not in any trouble, man. He's having a great day.
Yeah, he's loving life.
He's loving life. He's about to go up 2-0. NaNiwa just needs to take both goals or something right now.
And just hope for the best.
Just go for it.
Yeah. You may as well try. Do something crazy and wild. Extra little wall off here for GunGFuBanDa, just in case there was any kind of zealot counter straight up towards those rocks. And now, GunGFuBanDa has to do nothing but just sit back, make a 200-200 army, and then walk across, march across for the victory here at the moment against NaNiwa.
NaNiwa fighting for his challenger position in a very big best of 5, and a lot of people were a little bit sad that he couldn't go to the round of 16 and was eliminated in the round of 32. Well, he's not even going to be in the round of 32 if he doesn't turn this around and show us the magic that has to happen.
Yeah.
This match is very difficult for him to do. He's now fighting against Colossus. He's out-upgraded. He's outgunned. There's nothing working in his favor. He's trying to go up towards the second robotics facility to add on more Colossus to fight. But this German youngster's having none of this. He's solid. He's not making mistakes.
Doesn't even need to take the fights if he doesn't want to. I mean, he's in the middle of the map at the moment, and yes, he has a fantastic army, 4 Colossi against 0, but he doesn't have to take the fight if he doesn't want to. The third base is on the way for him. He can happily just max out if he wants, but NaNiwa, ooh, be careful.
He does have Storm available. Could do a lot of damage over time versus these units,
yep.
As long as GunGFuBanDa here sits in them, but...
Got to be careful with that, though, because Thermal Lance will kind of easily tear those up if he goes too far with those High Templar.
4 Colossus, and
it's just
about to be a 5th. A wall at the back here to prevent any backdooring. We don't like that in this game either.
Nope,
and NaNiwa, not enough time to break up this position, as his opponent's there waiting on the high ground.
Yeah. NaNiwa doing a pretty good job of actually keeping up in terms of supply and in terms of army supply itself, but the quality of his army is just not there. He's got 2 robo facilities pumping away, so he's trying to catch up in the Colossus count, but the thing is that even if he does catch up in the Colossus count, he still doesn't have that much anti-air, so the Void Rays can kill them off pretty fast.
Yeah, he's hoping the Storms can do a lot of work for him in that department.
Yep, true. True.
Third base planted for NaNiwa, but also going to be cancelled quite fast as 4 Zealots stream across. NaNiwa going to try and stop this from happening.
Even the probe in for the fight to try and deny. And very, very close to saving it, but oh my god. Whew. That was very close.
Very close indeed. But now it's 6 Colossus that he has to fight against, and this army is increasing its strength for every minute that ticks by. It is 6-3 in Colossus, 6-4. It is 5 Void Rays to 0. The one thing NaNiwa has is Immortals, but they can't shoot up if these Void Rays survive.
Count the lasers, NaNiwa. That Zealot, he saw 5 Void Rays and 12 lasers from those Colossi. So now they're going to march across, and he actually has not too bad a Colossus count himself here, does NaNiwa. Yeah. But again, just the quality of army overall is just not there.
+2 attack as well. So we're going to see in a fight coming out. NaNiwa knows his third's probably going to be under threat, so he's got to take the high ground to defend that. If he doesn't, it will be taken from his opponent.
Hallucinated Archons at the front here for GunGFuBanDa to try and just fool out his opponent, tank a little bit of that damage once he goes in for the fight.
He's waiting, he's looking, where is NaNiwa's army and where is the best possible army fight I can take? And it is to the right as NaNiwa takes the high ground.
Oh, he's luring him out of position.
Here we go. It's going to take place.
Positioning himself in between these 2 bases means that he can split off some units if he wants to. Just spread himself out in this concave. He sees that Storm is available, so doesn't want to be too clumped up.
He now has access to NaNiwa's second base and still access to the third. He has everything at this point. The back rocks are broken down, so he can go to the main base as well. NaNiwa in a very difficult position. A must fight with his inferior army to defend this from being a 0-2.
Yeah, there was almost the potential of a free Colossus there. Now he's actually straight out of position with his own Colossus, so there could be a free one there for him. But he does fall back to his army.
If NaNiwa walks down that ramp, time warp.
Oh, there's already time warp coming in. And the Archons from Zealots from the left-hand side will soak up a little bit of damage, but the Storms buy him more time.
At least time warp's gone now. That's an advantage for NaNiwa. It's been used already.
I can't believe army supply is in favor of NaNiwa after all that's been said and done in this game. but can he make it?
The quality is in favor of GunGFuBanDa for sure.
Yeah, the Void Rays is just going to go to this right-hand side, gun down these Colossi.
Oh, wow.
Brilliant little move.
Here we go.
And he's walking down into a death trap here. How well can the Colossi work out for NaNiwa? Two of them are at the back, not really doing a whole lot. The charge is going to go off the Void Rays, but still, the quality of army persists on through for GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, and NaNiwa kind of stuck. He's going to rock in a hard place. He's going to try and go down again. He's got to take this fight. Gets a couple of good waves onto his opponent's Colossus, but Void Rays just hunting the right.
Yeah, brilliant. Just isolating. And the Colossi there for NaNiwa were way out of position at the front of this army. And now, once again, GunGFuBanDa with the army supply advantage. Extra Archons morphing in. The Void Rays just going to town in the natural. There you go. As GG, GunGFuBanDa will take the second game in this best of 3.
Yeah.
And NaNiwa is really on the ropes now, and he's feeling it.
Yeah, he's down 0-2, and this next match would see him eliminated from the World Championship Series on entry this season in Challenger. Very, very difficult position now for the Swedes. I know for a player who's reached so many former heights, to be here in Challenger and not being able to even escape from Challenger, that's going to hit home hard. And he needs to really buckle down and win 3 maps in a row. Otherwise, he will be eliminated. And right now, I'll be frank with you, it looks like he is going to be eliminated. Yeah.
GunGFuBanDa is looking great. Absolutely fantastic here in this series. And now we wait to get into game number 3. There is easily the potential for a 3-0 at this point. Easily.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything that GunGFuBanDa is doing right, it's working. It's working. And NaNiwa just can't compete at the moment.
All right, so we're just waiting now. Coda will be our next map. And then this could swiftly move us on to our final series of the night if GunGFuBanDa is able to kind of round this out. But let's just take a step back for a moment from the next series, of course, and isolate this one. This is the potential for GunGFuBanDa to really make a name for himself on the international stage. Of course, he had that Fragbite Masters run, and it was fantastic there, but WCS is a whole other level. This is where it really starts to matter.
Yeah, this is a massive moment for both players. To advance on, to be eliminated is a big moment. This is, of course, GunGFuBanDa's debut within the World Championship Series. He's never played a game in Challenger before. This is his first time in Challenger. And he's going up against NaNiwa, and he's currently leading 2-0. He's currently undefeated within the World Championship Series. Hasn't even dropped a single map so far in his entire career.
Yeah, very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. As for now, he's just requesting 1 more minute before we actually get into this next game. So just trying to just compose himself, I guess, before he goes into it. As, you know, we've already mentioned before, we don't think his nerves are going to get to him, especially with the solidity of those past 2 games that he's actually shown here.
He probably even considers him a favorite in this matchup, so there's no reason to be nervous.
Yeah, and they also just need to change races, as GunGFuBanDa is currently listed as Terran as well, as NaNiwa would like to begin this game and get this done. He's a very assertive fellow himself, so, but NaNiwa dropping out, if he does drop out, obviously, you know, he is infamous for his attitude, infamous for his play, and you can say infamous or famous, regardless of which you choose. He has been one of the biggest StarCraft names out there in the European scene. So for him to fall out of WCS once again, it's a big blow to him.
He's not a big name anymore, though. That's the problem. That's the problem he's facing. Elimination in the round of 32 and elimination in Challenger within the next couple of moments here. If he doesn't turn this around, he has to turn this around. Otherwise, it's going to be a sad couple of seasons here for NaNiwa.
All right, so looks like both these players are now good to go. At the moment, GunGFuBanDa for Planet Key Dynamics leads 2-0 in this game, and NaNiwa for Team Property, recently picked up by Team Property, in fact, is on the ropes and will not be happy in the slightest if he is eliminated here.
Yeah, he's facing a very difficult task ahead of him, but he knows what it takes to be able to turn these type of series around. He's got to show it, otherwise it will be the German that goes through 3-0.
And the Swede that will be eliminated. So now we are good to go into game number 3 as we jump onto Coda. And we do have spawning up to the top. It is our blue Protoss, currently 2-0 up here in this best of 5. It is GunGFuBanDa. And down to the bottom right, it's our red Protoss representing Team Property. It is NaNiwa.
All right, so here we go again. Another game, another series, another moment that really changes the landscape of the World Championship Series. Setting up ready for Premier League. We've already entered Season 2. This is Season 2. And we are about to see which player will advance through. We started today with 5 matchups. We've currently got 3 players that have come out. 3 players who have been eliminated from Season 2. This is our 4th matchup. Next up, Firecake versus Azanster in a Zerg versus Zerg, France versus Sweden. As maybe Sweden can get some revenge if this goes the way it's looking like it. NaNiwa has to put the brakes on.
Yes, he does. He could potentially. He is a very, very high-class player, despite the fact that, you know, he hasn't had exactly the best of results recently. Not even really been back that long if you think about the entire time of StarCraft. But, of course, looking to challenge. Obviously would like a bit more money out of this. That's always useful once you go on forwards. Okay.
What's NaNiwa going to do different? Because there's something that's not working right. He's 0-2 down. What is it that's going to change here? Unfortunately, he got a little bit unlucky in that previous game with a single Oracle that threw his entire army out of position, which got taken full control of.
Yeah.
But a very good capitalization by GunGFuBanDa to realize that that was a chance, and he took the opportunity. And in Challenger, that is everything. It's about taking the opportunity at hand and taking it for yourself.
Yeah. Grasping it by the horns and making sure you can give it a damn good go. Because if you don't, then it's all over for months. Literally months worth of games. It is over for you. Unless, of course, you're able to find a little bit of traction in some external events for the World Championship Series. But the seasons of the World Championship Series is where it really matters. You gain so many points from placing highly.
Yeah, you do. It's the road, the real road, the beginning. This is where you put your shoes on. Well, your shoes are already on because you qualified for the World Championship Series. So yeah. This is where you start the warm-up jog towards the global finals at the end of the year in Challenger. And NaNiwa has got a pylon on the other side of the map and is looking for a structure to be put down here. He's chronoboosting out the Stalker. His 3rd pylon is not going to be... it's not known that it's out there. It easily could have been placed down in the base now as soon as the probe's gone.
Yeah. So just retreating on out here for now. And realizing, obviously, he's never really going to survive against that Stalker. But yeah. I don't... NaNiwa really can't get too much done in terms of scouting himself for now. So this Twilight Council will go uncontested for a little bit until the Stargate unit is out.
Yeah, he's got no way to know what he's playing against before he's already committed to what he's doing here. And you'd imagine it's going to be the Oracle. So the Oracle against Blink. The Oracle needs to do damage. I mean, if it doesn't do damage and it gets deflected, you're looking at an opponent who's upgrading his Stalkers with Blink and can easily counterattack. He has a probe out on the map. And with the Stargate on the other side of the map, it's going to be NaNiwa sitting on 3 gateways all by himself with no upgrades, no big units to stop Blink Stalkers.
Yeah.
That's the way we're looking at. So this Oracle's important for NaNiwa. It's the most important unit of the entire series right now. He must stop this 3-0, and that is the unit of choice.
And it's almost as if his will to go into the longer games has just been broken in those past 2 games. Proxy Oracle into 3 gateways from this point on. It's a big and costly investment.
Well, the attack has already started to take shape. We have a pylon on the other side of the map. There is a Stalker in position for an Oracle, and also the Photon Overcharge ready. This Oracle's going to get shut down really fast here. 1 hit from the Stalker, but he's going to get into the probe line. Only 3. I guess 3 is better than none, and he does escape with it.
But now it's at half health, even with the shield's recovery. He can't stick around there for long when he jumps in again.
Yeah, but NaNiwa still doesn't know what he's up against. Blink is down. It is 6 Stalkers for NaNiwa to 2 of his opponents.
You're right. He didn't get in too far to actually spot what the tech was.
So if this Stalker count starts to increase for GunGFuBanDa and they're very similar, Blink will take superiority. And NaNiwa could be in trouble. But he is aggressive. He's going to open another round of 3 Stalkers. So it's going to be 9-2. But it's a mortal production.
Oh, if he could get the Sentry, that would be nice. Doesn't get it, though. Doesn't want to stick around in that Photon Overcharge as well as with those extra Stalkers.
NaNiwa decided not to attack. He's pulled back. He realizes his opponent's on 1 base. He's scared of DTs. He's blocking his ramp. He's scared that he could just instantly lose. He's not going to attack. He's going to expand. So he never warped in the 3 additional Stalkers that he was looking to do. He built 6, fell back, expands.
And the probe sees the Nexus as it goes down and then just retreats out without showing that he knows about the Nexus. Really good stuff here from GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah. I like NaNiwa's safer choice here. The fight was always going to be risky. Doesn't have Blink. He didn't know if it was Dark Templar. He's going to finally scout now. Goes in and says, well, wait a minute. This guy's got 3 Gate, Blink, and Robo. And I just picked up 4 extra kills. This is actually pretty good, and I've expanded earlier. So he took the better choice to fall back and expand and defend. 10 supply ahead. Immortal production on the way.
Yeah. That might give him a little bit more peace of mind now, because that is a series of choices that has almost accidentally put him in the lead. I don't want to say accidentally, because it really discredits the decision-making. So in the end, you know, it's just good game sense to actually make these kind of choices.
He's in the lead, but he could be taken out of that lead immediately. The Dark Shrine is down.
Yeah.
Dark Templars walk up. NaNiwa has to spot them. He has to realize what's going on. Currently, he has no observer.
Just one observer in for GunGFuBanDa on the other side, playing quite cautiously himself. Obviously, he knew that the timing of this Nexus was earlier than his after seeing it with the probe.
NaNiwa does have his units on the ramp, though.
Yeah, so well placed, well placed. I think he saw some of these units in the ramp, right? Okay, so he does see them all on the ramp. I wonder if he continues going. You could try and get a Warp Prism or something, but it takes away from the Immortal production. Well, for now, let's see if he's going to be able to make this work out.
NaNiwa's got to be worried. Like, where are your units?
Yeah, not much available to him.
No, NaNiwa moves out as the Dark Shrine finishes, but GunGFuBanDa doesn't know NaNiwa's moving out and still thinks those units are on the ramp.
Wait, Hallucinated Phoenix is going to be able to spot this.
He sees NaNiwa moving out, and now you warp in and go counter with this and hope you have enough to defend. And the thing is, NaNiwa does not have an observer. So yes, a Dark Templar can defend and attack.
Oh my god.
It can actually go down like this. NaNiwa, no detection. Dark Shrine is out on the map. First DT into counter. We'll see another one to defend.
Oh, he was getting the Warp Prism as well, actually, try and sneak it in. I don't think he really needs this now.
No detection.
No detection at all.
Nothing.
Here comes some Stench. Oh god, he's got so little to defend.
NaNiwa's got a great army, but he doesn't have any detection to stop DTs from defending.
Sporadic force fields everywhere here to try and catch himself. One Immortal will do, and then the Photon Overcharge is buying time. The Dark Templar, he walked in. There's one in the middle line as well.
He has to recall. He has to pull as many probes to not lose and recall back. He's about to lose everything.
Uh-oh. He might just go on tilt and go. I'm not sure.
But then he has to fight defending Dark Templar. This is like a lose-lose.
He's on the road. He's trying to push them forwards, but there's the Dark Templar defending as well. He's going to get a few swipes on sentries, actually throwing down the force fields here, but that Dark Templar is in the mix. Has to recall out.
17 probes, does not attack, does not defend, doesn't do anything, caught in the middle. And he takes 20 probe losses to Dark Templar.
A brilliant little move here for GunGFuBanDa. Brilliant little move, and NaNiwa really stretched up against it here. And now this army, it's been recalled back, but this gives GunGFuBanDa a great chance to stabilize on his 2 bases.
There's a Warp Prism out, so if NaNiwa moves out again, he just drops Dark Templar in the main base again. NaNiwa caught in a very difficult position. And this has given enough time for his opponent to get Immortals out. Remember, he still has Blink over NaNiwa that doesn't. He's about to... I mean, it is 2 Immortals versus 2 Immortals. NaNiwa's out in the open again, which means he can be countered by that Warp Prism.
It's Blink versus no Blink as well, right? So all these little things really going in GunGFuBanDa's favor. And +1 before even NaNiwa has his Forge going down. So walks forwards, gets a little volley off, has to blink back.
GunGFuBanDa sees NaNiwa in the middle of the map and says, if you're not back at home defending, I will use Dark Templar again.
And he's... where is his... Okay, so he does have an observer in his natural, but here comes the Dark Templar again.
NaNiwa may just resign right here because he cannot defend, he cannot recall back, he's losing over and over and over, he cannot attack.
He's going to lose more probes if they actually walk on forwards. The Photon Overcharge should be able to... not able to pick up for the retreat out, but he has to walk home.
Yeah. And now it's about starting that +1 attack and getting back into gas where he's been pulling probes left and right and thinking about how he can approach this game because there's no... he can't attack. There's no way.
No.
His opponent has a similar, if not stronger, army now.
Sad and sorry state at the moment here for NaNiwa.
There's the later upgrade, no robotics bay. There's a robotics bay down. The 3rd Nexus is down. He's in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he is. As for now, going to have GunGFuBanDa starting his Colossi with that Thermal Lance as well. And he spotted how far along his opponent's Robo Bay is. So GunGFuBanDa, once again, is going to be feeling very, very comfortable here. +2 weapons on the way as well. With that +1 not even finished here yet for NaNiwa.
Yes, NaNiwa's in a pickle. He's got to find some strength somehow, because so far this has been a whitewash, but I don't really know where it is now. He's got to take it to the later stages. He's going to see his opponent on a third base, and from this position has to look at this objectively and find out what is the best way to approach this.
At least he saw the Warp Prism being less aggressive than usual, though, so he can take a little bit of solace in the fact that that is over this side of the map, and he won't be threatened just yet. Unless it was the second Warp Prism, and that would be utterly crazy, but that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, a big moment here for GunGFuBanDa, put up with a very difficult task. And he's 2-0 up, and he's leading game number 3. If everything goes his way, this is going to be a 3-0, a massive moment for him in his debut in WCS. And we've already seen a laser earlier on going through to Premier League on his debut. We could have a second player.
And to think about it, now we should have probably kept up on our tally of Premiers versus Challengers, because right now, today is looking like a Challenger day.
Yep. Yep, you are right there.
All right, the Winds of Sand apparently just appear here before the Stalkers, as they will now find this 5th base, and they could do a bit of scratching damage to it. Don't think they can deny it fully. This army should be able to get back there in time.
Yeah, it should be okay.
Yep. So, but he's going to take a bit of health damage, so maybe it softens it up for later on. Only minute.
So third base now completed for GunGFuBanDa, adding more and more and more. 5 extra gateways to ramp his production up a little bit as he completes +2 attack and has Zealot Charge on the way. And with the amount of gateways he's going up to now, it's quite significantly more than NaNiwa. So NaNiwa sees his opponent's army in the middle, not too big right now, but it's about to be.
Yeah. Archon's even morphing in as well, as I don't think NaNiwa has access to Archons just yet.
Yeah, he will do shortly, but
yeah,
I don't think this fight that GunGFuBanDa's setting himself up with all these gateways, I don't know if it's going to work or not. He does have +2 over NaNiwa's +1 and Zealot Charge as well, but NaNiwa still has a decent army too. It's not like it's bad. He's got a lot of Immortals, a couple of Colossus. If
it can hit with 4 Colossi over 2, then that would be great, but...
Yeah, the problem is NaNiwa just doesn't know this is happening. He doesn't know these rocks are being broken down. He doesn't know he's about to take a fight. He's not in position. His army's not joined as one. He's got a Colossus on the natural. The Mothership Core is inside the main base. He does not know about this.
Oh, and he's going to drop some of these Archons on the... Immortals on the Colossi when he goes for this fight.
He's got no idea he's about to take a fight, and he's going to take a fight. He's not ready, which means his army, control groups, whatever, he's just not ready. He's not prepared.
He has no idea. He sees it now.
And now it's way too late.
Uh-oh. If he loses a Colossus before all of this even occurs, there's the time warps. That Colossus is way out of position. Likewise, on the right-hand side, the Colossus not right in the right position at all. It's going to get blinked on. And here is GunGFuBanDa's great opportunity to actually push on forwards. A huge warp in there from GunGFuBanDa on the right-hand side as well. And NaNiwa has very little left. He's dancing his Colossi here in the 3rd game. Dancing his Colossi. And there you go. It's going to be NaNiwa who is eliminated and GunGFuBanDa who is moving on to Premier.
And GunGFuBanDa on his debut, 3-0, 3 maps in a row. He's 100% win record, and he moves on to play in Premier League, eliminating NaNiwa before he gets to Premier League. And that is 2 players today who debut and go through to the Premier League. Big moments for these younger players.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff there. So congratulations to GunGFuBanDa. He's proved himself quite a bit here on the national scene, but obviously with that Fragbite Masters and now this, really proving himself on the international scene.
Yep, he's made it to the Premier League and will compete either in Los Angeles, in Burbank, ready for the round of 32, or in Cologne, Germany, ready for the round of 32, which is happening not so far away now.
All right, well, that is 4 series out of 5 done here for today. Our next one coming up is going to be Firecake going up against Zanster, so join us after the break for more WCS Challenger action.